a number of Malspam campaigns have started using Excel web query files to target users.
Mike, we have a story with Excel web query and some malware.
Yeah, so, malicious actors are always kind of changing up their tactics and their techniques and, trying to find new ways to get victims to click on something, right, and to get past filters and whatnot. And lately we've seen some threat actors using Excel web query files, which have an IQY extension, as part of Malspam campaigns.
Typically, most users would associate Excel files with just spreadsheets, usually benign. But these IQY files apparently have the capacity to embed references to outside files, and that includes things like scripts.
So attackers are taking advantage of this functionality, and they're using this to pull down code of their own choosing from other assets under their control on the internet. And there's been a number of different malware campaigns using this these past couple of months. The Necker's botnet has been seen delivering the flawed Amy Trojan using this particular technique. In addition, there's a threat actor group relatively recently named called Dark Hydrus that has been seen using this same file type, but they've actually been sort of obfuscating it by including it as part of a RAR compressed file in an attachment. And then lastly, the Marap downloader was seen to be using this same kind of file extension in August to target financial institutions, sometimes embedding that IQY file actually into a PDF document.
In general, if you get an attachment from someone you're not expecting, it's usually a good idea not to open it immediately and send it off to the security professionals to review it. So Mike, you were saying that these files have sort of embedded references to external files inside of them. That's where they're, I guess, Excel web files. So you can make a reference to an external data source and include it in your Excel calculations, is my assumption. All right.
Yeah.
So from there, how does it actually run what it pulls down? Because whatever it pulls down has to be some sort of executable code or a script or something, right?
The URL reaches out and pulls down, whatever embedded content that is directed to, which could be a script file, JavaScript, VB script, whatever the case might be, which would then be executed in the end user's security context and take whatever action that script takes.
Huh. So then it would just execute the executable command.
Well, sure. I mean, I'm thinking the difference between like a full-on piece of malware being pulled down and then Excel having the rights to run that, as opposed to some sort of scripting language, which I feel is more likely. I mean, I've seen Excel files with VB script built in, and PowerShell wouldn't be too much of a stretch of the imagination, but pulling down like the actual malware, I think would be a problem. Yeah. This is probably like a first stage. Like, I think this IQY file would be the first stage. The second stage would be whatever gets pulled down by that script and executed, probably.
Yeah, usually to avoid detection, there's multiple stages for those downloaders, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything from Microsoft on this? Do they sort of feel like this is as designed, or is it something that they have any plans to address? I mean, I could imagine them saying, well, this is an ability to run external commands, and you have to be careful what you query, but I don't know, unless there's some way for them to change how it works, right?
Well, I haven't seen any statements from Microsoft, and this is, actual feature functionality that's inside of the product. So it's not like it's a vulnerability. It's more like an abuse of functionality. And, for organizations that have workflow that takes advantage of this, they're probably more at risk than others, because this is not the same thing as a macro virus or something like that. And if you're used to clicking through the pop-up window that says, hey, this spreadsheet is trying to download content from an external source, do you want to allow that? If you're used to clicking through that as part of your normal day-to-day workflow, those are probably the people who are going to be at most heightened risk for this type of an attack campaign.
You really should know when you should be getting an IQY file. You should know when you're getting an executable. So unless you're used to handling IQY files, I would sort of assume that this is a file type that the average user is not responsible for.